Jason Massimino, Officer Andrew Glidora, and Officer Michael Galero be sworn in as patrol sergeants. At this time, I'd like to ask these officers to come up here and join me. I know they're thrilled about that. First, I would like to congratulate these officers for successfully completing the comprehensive and competitive selection process for the rank of sergeant. I was truly impressed by their performance, as well as the performance of the other 7 candidates who participated. This promotion is not only a result of your hard work that went into preparing for this process, but it is also the result of your hard work over the course of your careers. A lot of time and effort went into this selection process, not only by the candidates, but also by the current sergeants and command staff in the development and administration of this process. There's a very good reason why so much effort was devoted to this, and that is simply because the proper selection of sergeants is absolutely critical to the effectiveness of our department. I know my fellow law enforcement officers will agree that there is no job more important in policing than a job of frontline supervisor. In our case, the patrol sergeant. Almost every job or incident of consequence that our department handles is initially handled by patrol, under the direct supervision of the patrol sergeants. These sergeants and the officers in their charge will be required to make decisions on the fly in an endless variety of situations, ranging from legal issues regarding arrest, search, and seizure, to tactical responses and deployment of manpower and resources in the most serious crisis situation. These decisions are often made without the luxury of time and deliberation. Yet good decisions made by our frontline supervisors and the officers in their charge are to make the difference in our success. As a chief of police, I take great comfort in knowing that our department has very qualified officers in these positions. Before I speak about the individual officers being sworn in, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the mayor and the council for not only the support of these and other recent promotions, but also for their support of the entire department. I would now like to give you a background on each of these sergeants and ask that the mayor administer the oath to each one individually. First officer being sworn in tonight is Sergeant Jason Massimino. Prior to joining the Berkeley Heights Police Department, Jason Massimino graduated Kane University with a bachelor's degree in management science. In January of 2007, Jason joined our department as a patrolman. He was assigned to the Support Services Division as a detective in 2012. During a portion of this time in support services, Jason was assigned to the Union County Prosecutor's Office Specialized Unit, Guns, Gangs, Drugs, and Violent Crimes Task Force. He is one of the original members of the Police Department Honor Guard, a unit he still serves on. Jason is responsible for creating, developing, and implementing our current community policing programs, including our Senior Academy and our Youth Academy. In addition to these programs, he has developed and conducted presentations to our high school students on pertinent topics such as bullying, cyberbullying, and emerging drug trends. Jason has also volunteered his time as a coach for our PAL wrestling program. He has also become an integral part of our department's training program. As a certified handgun and patrol rifle instructor, Sergeant Massimino assists with instructing all members of the department throughout the year during our mandatory firearms training. He's also our lead instructor in other critical areas such as expandable baton, OC aerosol projector or pepper spray, and defensive tactics. As you can tell from all that Sergeant Massimino has done throughout his career, he has taken on a leadership role long before receiving the formal designation of sergeant. I would now ask the mayor that Mayor Woodler swear in Sergeant Massimino. Joining Jason for the swearing in is his wife Alyssa and his daughter Melania. I'd like to mention also here is his mother Jody, his father Joe Massimino, retired sergeant from New Jersey State Police, his brother Joe, and his wife Cindy, and their children Joe and Juliana.
I state your name.
I, Jason Massimino,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and this state,
to the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name,
I, Jason Massimino,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of police sergeant
perform all the duties of police sergeant
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Next officer being sworn in tonight is Sergeant Andrew Glidora. Prior to joining our department, Andrew Glidora earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice at the University of Scranton. In September of 2001, he joined our department as a patrolman. In 2006, Sergeant Glidora was assigned to the Union Essex Auto Theft Task Force. In January of 2016, he was assigned to the Community Policing Unit as a traffic officer. Sergeant Glidora, like Sergeant Massimino, has taken on a leadership role in the department long before being formally promoted. For the last several years, he has voluntarily taken on the responsibility of overseeing and updating our field training program and ensuring compliance with the Police Training Commission's standards. This program is the critical initial training that all our new patrol officers must complete. This is a big responsibility, and his efforts have certainly benefited the department. As a certified radar instructor, Andy has also been responsible for training all our officers in that. I would now ask that Mayor Woodruff swear in Sergeant Glidora. Joining Andrew is his wife Jen and his son Andrew. Also here is his father Andrew, retired from Scotch Plains Police Department, and also his mother Patricia.
I state your name,
I, Andrew Glidora,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name,
I, Andrew Glidora,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of police sergeant
perform all the duties of police sergeant
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Sergeant.
So freaking cute, these kids.
Next officer being sworn in is Sergeant Michael Galero. Prior to joining our department, after attending Thomas Edison State College, Mike Galero worked as a police dispatcher for Westfield Police. He then attended the John H. Stanwood Police Academy as an alternate route recruit. After graduating the police academy, Sergeant Galero joined our police department as a dispatcher and then as a patrolman in 1996. Mike has also taken on training responsibilities in the department throughout his career. He was one of our original field training officers, and he helped to start that program. He has also been a firearms instructor, as well as an instructor in expandable baton and OC aerosol projector. During his career, Sergeant Galero was assigned to the Union Essex Auto Theft Task Force, where he achieved the designation of field supervisor. I have no doubt that having supervised over 100 officers of various ranks from over 50 agencies at auto theft, will serve Mike well in his position as sergeant. Mike has also been the supervisor of patrol shift over the last year in the absence of the sergeant. Like the previous two sergeants, Mike has more than proven his leadership skills over the course of his career. I will now ask the mayor to swear in Mike Galero. Helping Mike with the swearing is his wife Jennifer, his children Alina, Michael, and Emma. Also here is his mother Denise and his father Tom.
I state your name.
I, Michael Galero,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Michael Galero,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of police sergeant
perform all the duties of police sergeant
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Sergeant.
Thank you.
I'd like to close by thanking everyone for coming tonight and sharing in this event that is not only important for these officers and their families, but also for the department. There's no doubt that being a patrol sergeant is a challenging job, in a challenging profession, in an era that is as challenging as any time I am aware of. But you're sworn in tonight because you're up to the challenge. I expect each of you to look at your role as an opportunity to help lead your department in our mission to provide the highest level of police services to this great community. Congratulations on your well-deserved promotions. Good luck and be safe.
Thank you, Chief, and congratulations again to the three sergeants and their family. I also want to give a special note to Chief DePasquale and his two lieutenants, who I know, Lieutenant Amerlin and Lieutenant Deach, who I know worked very, very hard to make sure this process was fair and complete, and they did a heck of a job. And John, thank you very much. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to turn things around a little bit tonight because we have an item that we have to discuss in the back room that we may end up discussing in conference session, so it would make sense. We have to clear some things with our attorney. I'm going to have Ms. Kingsley read the resolution, and then everybody's free to take their pictures and so on and so forth, and we'll go back in executive session. Okay.
Yeah. Whereas the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-1, expressly provide that the public body may move into executive session and exclude that public from the portion of a meeting at which the public body discusses any of the 9 areas set forth in NJSA 10:4-12B. And whereas the Township Council of the Township of Berkeley Heights has determined it necessary to move into executive session to discuss the following subjects, all of which are included in the aforesaid exceptions: attorney-client privilege, litigation, affordable housing. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Berkeley Heights that it does hereby move into executive session pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B to discuss the aforesaid matters. It is further resolved that the aforesaid discussions shall be made public either at the public meeting following said executive session or at such time as any litigated or personal matters are concluded, or upon conclusion of any negotiations or related discussions, or as otherwise specified. It's resolved this resolution shall take effect pursuant to law, February 23rd, 2016.
Second.
Motion to second. Any discussion? Anna?
Yes.
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 Okay, we should be back shortly. Thank you.
No, nothing for conference today.
Eddie?
I do. I don't know if I'll just bring it up in my council
Okay.
reports.
Okay.
It'll turn into conference anyway, so.
Mr. Perone?
Nothing.
Mr. Pastor?
Communications Committee met, and this past week. I wasn't able to attend, but I did get a little bit of an update that they are now putting meetings up on the TV station, and that there is on the website, the school website, there's a schedule of when they will be showing the meetings. So they will be on TV 34 and 46. Right?
And it shows there's basically mornings, there's two mornings, 2 middays, and 2 evenings, and during the week on scattered days, along with the mayor's roundtable
It is now up
and
there.
the redevelopment meeting.
And I do think we got some additional help from the Board of Ed on getting that up there.
Okay. Ms. Kingsley?
Nothing for conference?
Nothing? I don't have anything either. Township Council reports. Mr. DeQuilla?
Nothing to report other than to congratulate our new sergeants.
Okay. Mr. D'Elia?
The first one is simple. We'll do a simple one first. Vito's picture that he donated, the map, I don't know where it is. It was in the back room.
Got it locked in the safe in the clerk's office.
Well, what I was going to suggest, if I could, being no matter what goes on here, it's still going to take a year to 2. Could I put it up on the wall? I don't mind doing it. It'll take me a half hour.
The wall we're looking right at? Right here?
Yeah, there's a big blank spot right
All right.
below the
Yeah.
clock.
John, can't we just have one of our guys do it?
Sure.
So Ed doesn't have to do
Okay,
it?
sounds good.
I put it away so it didn't walk.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all.
Yeah,
I
mean,
agree with you,
it's going to
let's
be a while, and I just thought,
Sure.
I actually think there's mounting holes up there, too.
I think there are some holes. I think other things may have been there. Okay, it sounds
Because there
good.
was something there originally.
I'll take care of that, Edward.
okay, thanks. The other one is going to be controversial. I know I'm going to catch heat for it, but I just want to propose this. Instead of purchasing the church property, not purchasing it, not moving the library, leaving the library where it is, do some renovations, make it ADA compliant. If we need to, we could put an addition on it. And what we would get out of that is even if we spent $500,000, because that should be enough to do an addition and upgrade the library, we would still end up with a bigger library than what we are proposing. And by leaving the library where it is, it would give us more room back here to do whatever we need to do. And if we did need to put a gym for a community center, we would have the room for it. If we kept it simple, a gym would be, I don't know if that council got letters from several people, and I know that's only a few people, but it's a thought that went through my head that it would make, a gym would be less expensive than building, the whole third section of the complex, which would make the library, move to here. The other thing we would benefit is we wouldn't have to close the library for 2 years. We wouldn't have to move everything. We wouldn't have to rent the space for the library. Everything could be done with the library, staying where it is and continuing. There is property behind it. We can add, even if we added just...
I don't think we can add to the back of it.
There's...
The wetlands.
I think the wetlands is pretty far back. All we'd have to do
No, I
is
know,
just
but I don't
extend the
think
parking
There was a
lot.
reason why we couldn't, and I think, wasn't there a reason why we couldn't expand that in the back?
Part of it is you're taking away all the parking
Yeah.
and the parking lot. The wetlands may be further back, but the south marsh isn't.
Right.
As soon as you step into the grass, you're in, ankle-deep mud.
Water, yeah.
Right. I think there was a reason why we couldn't expand out the back, and that's one of the reasons why we looked at moving it.
I'm talking only, say, from the back of the building up to the parking lot, which is 25, 30 feet. But that, if we did need to expand it, that would give us enough expansion, whether we had to make a meeting room or whatever, 1-story, 2-story, whatever it may be. But it's an option that could save the town several $1 million, and we would be keeping the library open the whole time instead of not having a library for the town. And it bothers me to have the thought of building this new building with a smaller library than what we have. I just think the library should be an important part of the town, and by making it smaller, I don't think is benefiting us.
I don't think it is smaller. I think technically, I'll
It's
counterbalance
smaller.
a couple of that. One, the biggest advantage to dealing with the Little Flower property is it's a financing vehicle. And if we do not do this transaction, everything you're proposing will cost us and we'll have no revenue to offset the build. That's point number one. Point number two is we don't have the opportunity to add a rateable. So there's two things that make this transaction work. One, we're gonna buy the property, turn around, sell it to, rezone it, sell it to a developer for more money, which funds a significant piece of the bill. Two, we add a rateable, which takes whatever the tax increase is and spreads it over a bigger base.
Can I address that?
Yeah, and
before we
three,
go
that I
any
think
further?
even to look at putting a gym here, there's a problem with, this is a finite piece of land, which is a funky piece of property, and because of the private homes that exist around it, you have a parking problem. So no matter what you do, you still will never have enough parking to build what you're gonna need to address a full gym coming
Well,
onto the site.
That's where the gym was a partial idea of it, but if we go to the financing part, we can't, if I look at revenues, to me, that's the worst thing to look at, because first of all, the school gets the biggest portion, the county gets a huge portion, we get this little tiny portion, and what it costs the township for every time we enlarge our town, it's always a negative. Never will our taxes go down by doing construction. All they do is the money gets spent somewhere because we need more police, we need more fire or DPW, we need more of our services. Everything goes up, doesn't go down. And for the fact of the revenue for this, when we were originally talking about it being worth 10 million, it was planned to be 120 units. I think the last time we had talked, it was down to 80. So that's a huge difference. The
No, I think it's
cost,
still at 100 units. I don't know.
It's still 100
It's still about 100
the
units.
cost, the value goes down by how many units you put in. So that's already a big negative. And, we've said it many times, we should not be in the real estate business. It's not our job to count the residents' money and be spending it to try and make money off of real estate. If I'm sure that if we don't do this deal, the church will probably still be there. If we, and then nothing will be built. Maybe they'll sell it and turn it into something, who knows? But that shouldn't be we shouldn't be sticking our hands in it. And, I've been against the real estate portion of this no matter what. I'm still against it, but I feel the biggest factor is leaving the library where it is and spending money to fix it would save us a ton of money, and I'm talking millions. And we would still get a bigger library. It wouldn't be all in one spot, but trying to fit everything here, we still don't know, is it going to fit for the parking, for having, a library, having a town hall during the day, and then you have the senior citizens meetings. We don't know if the parking's going to be sufficient. It could be tough at times. By leaving the library where it is, that's one less thing that we have to accommodate to fit in here. I think it would save us money, and it's something that we should be thinking about and looking at. And I hope people at least consider it or think about it, because it might be better. Let's say it that way.
Okay, anything else?
I think that's
Mayor,
it.
can I make one comment on that?
Sure, John.
On the size of the library, because that came up with Anthony, actually. He said the usable floor space is better in this building in what he's proposing than what we actually have now, because it's cut up and you're losing space in the library. It's not all usable space in our current library. So square footage-wise, you may be looking at it, it may be even, but it's different. The square footage that will be in the new building is all usable space.
Okay, I do recall Anthony speaking to that, John, thank you. Mr. Prone? Thank you. Mr. Pastor?
Nothing.
Ms. Kingsley?
Yeah, since Mr. Fasher is not here tonight, a brief update. We have, as a council, received several letters and emails from residents about the presentation on the redevelopment that was given that Saturday, and people have been asking questions about recreation space and potential gym space. So Mark just wanted to let me know that our professionals did talk to Mr. Barton and some of his staff, and they have spoken to the residents, and they are looking at options on that building, what can be done, and they will be coming back to the council shortly with any comments and/or suggestions or revisions if possible. So
Okay.
it is coming. We just have not heard, they're not done yet, but they did
Okay.
hear everybody.
Good.
That's it.
That's it, I have nothing. Mr. Vasicolo?
Few items, if I may. Passaic River, we finished that up on 12/11 with the county. An update, we did contract with the same people to come back because of the weather and the water. They haven't been able to do it right now. They will return in the spring, and they'll clean up some of the debris that was left and remove some more snags. On inlet repairs, the weather has been against us, but we do have 4 of them have been completed. There's one behind Town Hall that we've got to fix. It's pretty bad. There's one by the rescue squad that's got to be done also, amongst others. Recycling, we sent out the bid package, has been sent out. Bids are to be received by April 12th, and we will go from there and see who the successful bidder is. Free Acres, we're trying to resolve the Kingman Road dispute that we have with them. There's a section of road that runs through Free Acres. We own the front portion, we own the back portion, supposedly we don't own the middle. And we have 2 houses that are not in Free Acres that are on the end of the road. So technically, they're driving over Free Acres to get back out. So we're trying to come up with an agreement to allow them to use that portion of the road. As everyone, I think, is aware of, Roosevelt and Hamilton, there's a water main extension that's been worked on for the past week or so. I don't know if that's, Bob, is that finished now? I know.
No, it should be, depending on the weather, we're gonna.
All right. But I don't think it's hampering traffic now. I think we're past that point. We had the architect out to meet on the fire department, the sleeping quarters. We're still waiting on a response back from them on what we can do with that. The Littell Lord Museum, met with the architect on that, you know what I mean. The necessary work to provide estimated costs for improvements on that. We've got some problems there. We need to get that looked at quickly. Buildings and grounds, just so you know, nothing there really. We replaced 10 floodlights at the train station. 8 were replaced in Town Hall. We have baluses and lightings were replaced in the library. Just garbage and recycling taken care of. Maintenance, all the trucks were cleaned after, again, the last storm. We're expecting 200 tons of salt to be delivered to refill the dome. We're in pretty good shape. We haven't used a tremendous amount of salt this year, which has been really a lot of help. Housekeeping, we removed 125 yards of leaves that we had in the back that we dumped. They were hauled away. We did some bicycle upgrade grates. We did 40 grates so far. They're new. Any new road that's paved, we have to replace the sewer grates. They're just a different style. Face plates are also going to have to be put on those, and all the old grates will be taken to be recycled so we can get some cash back for them. Potholes, we only put down 5 tons. Again, weather was kind of against us. As far as parks go, we are trying to elevate tree branches and limbs that are in the over at Lower Columbia Park. We've been working on that. Gov Deals came in, took some pictures. We're going to have another auction schedule, which we'll have to do a resolution that we'll get to you shortly. On the website, we had a meeting last week with our website committee. We filled out a bunch of paperwork and sent it off to our website developer. Within 2 weeks, he's going to come back to us with a mock-up template of what the website would look like. From our building department, we had 39 new applications. We had 18 permits that were issued. We had 60 plans that were reviewed, and we collected $2,208. Our hotel, we have 2 meetings with them. Once a week, we're having a meeting with them to make sure we're keeping on schedule, supplying them with the permits they need, and any questions that we might have, we're getting answers so that we don't run into a situation where all of a sudden we're down to the last minute and everybody's panicking. So we're trying to make sure we keep that on track. From the rec department, Tom is finishing up the spring brochure for distribution next week, and registration will begin in the middle of March. Talking about cleanup, we were wondering, should we have our bulk pickup in the spring or again in the fall like we did this past year. The only drawback, there's two things going on. If we have it in the spring, we're looking at an 8-month time frame, not a year since the last time we did it. The other thing is, in the fall, we've got chipping and leaf pickup at the same time. But Anna, I know you had a bunch of phone calls, actually.
People like the fall.
I mean, I would suggest that since we do have the press here, that if we could get, get them to cover the question and just have, if anybody, has an opinion, let them get back to either Anna or the council with their preference, and let's try to see if there's a strong opinion.
Would be, what would be fall and what would be March would be spring?
No, spring is usually May, right?
Bob, when did we have that scheduled before?
It's May?
Yeah, spring is usually in May.
May.
And
It's
the
either
other
May
one
or
was
like October, right?
Fall is mid-September.
Mid-September, October?
No, I'm sorry, spring chipping, oh, no.
No, it's cleanup.
Sorry, the bulk pickup.
Bulk pickup.
Yes, yes.
John, was-
In May.
It's May.
John, was the reason that we pushed it to fall due to the budget issue?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay, so
didn't
we'll
have
make
we
an
had the budget
assumption.
approved in
So we'll
time.
make an assumption that the budget will be approved in a timely fashion to
Right.
enable us
That's
to do
the goal.
that.
Right.
Okay,
So we don't run into that once again.
gotcha.
September into October?
Yes.
Yes, that's fine.
We had a lot of positive
The only-
feedback.
If we have to do it in the spring, I have to
Get going.
advertise it, so I need some time to advertise
Yeah.
it and obviously notify the residents.
What's your time frame for that?
When do we have
I
to?
would have
We have to decide shortly.
No later than, I'd have to receive bids no later than the beginning of April.
Right.
So we need
I'm
to,
sorry, repeat that? You'd have to,
receive bids no later than the beginning of April, so I...
and we hope to vote on, to deal with the budget by the end of March?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
First
there you
budget
go.
meeting is next Monday.
Yeah.
So you need to know by 1st of March?
Yes.
We've been working diligently.
I'm not suggesting you have it.
it may end up in the fall by default.
I know, it's very fast.
We
That's
have
what-
some historical reference here that we can...
And one last thing, I know there was a question on GRA's business certificate. I have his ID number, have a confirmation number that it's active, paid up to date, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. John, how's the brine situation going?
We're making more right now, it's worked out well, it's kept the ice from forming on the street. That's the main thing we've seen, is that when we get an event, instead of the ice sticking to the road when you go to
Road's too
plow
black.
it, gets us back down to blacktop, it doesn't adhere to the road. And that's helped us, it makes the roads much safer for us. This has been a tremendous winter, we've been very fortunate,
Gotcha.
so hopefully it continues, we're done.
Is that it, John?
Yes, sir.
One more thing. The public, and many of you have been here often during the discussions of affordable housing, so you understand the dilemma which faces most municipalities in the state. Our council has put together what I'll call a primer on the history of Mount Laurel taking us up to today. It is eye-glazing over reading, so we're not going to necessarily subject that to everyone here. We, Mr. Fasher, Ms. Kingsley, myself, and each of the council people, if they wish to comment towards it, we're putting together kind of like a two-page document that really sets forth what the affordable housing situation is, what we're facing, what we're trying to do. And so you'll see some of it tonight, as a matter of fact, on the agenda. But so we hope to get that out to the public within the next week. So what we'll do is you'll get like a two-page Cliff Note version.
There'll be a letter.
A letter, right?
attachment
Letter,
that's-
see, and okay, everybody will read that. And then there'll be an attachment that goes into great depth and gives you historical reference as to Mount Laurel going back to the early 70s. Like I said,
It'll be released to the press.
Yeah, it'll be
put on the website
So it is
simultaneously.
if you
And
wish,
probably on our Facebook page.
if
too,
you
I
wish
would
to
think.
get some quick sleep, I suggest you read the second portion of that also. Okay, so that will be coming out shortly. Okay, let me see here. Back to
Mr. Ticola.
Mr. DeQuilla.
Yes, I move that all Township Council reports be accepted and approved.
Second?
So second discussion. Vote.
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeo?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone.
I would like to approve the minutes of the public meeting, January 1st, 2016, as well as January 12th, 2016.
Second?
Motion to second, any discussion? Vote.
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Ms. Kingsley,
Okay, I move to open the hearing on agenda items only.
is there a second? A motion, a second, any discussion? Vote?
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Okay, hearing agenda items only is open.
Carol Matula, 5 Hastings Road. On the resolution regarding the drilling on the site, are they going to be looking for, like, organic compounds too, or is it just, are they just looking for, like, the level of water? What are they looking for?
Bob, could you respond to that inquiry? Did you hear it?
I heard, the way I understand it, they're looking for groundwater, soil conditions, that are quite stable, so. you were
So they're
asking-
really not looking, like, if there was any soil contamination?
No.
I don't believe so, I haven't
That's
seen
not
the,
This is not the water table.
No, I don't believe
This is
this
for the
is
water
not the
table.
phase one investigation. This is
No.
more of a, for the stability of the soil and groundwater levels.
Essentially, what they do, they take a 4 to 6 inch sample, and they go down 20, 30, 40 feet, whatever the geotechnical, and they analyze what's at different levels of, what's the compound of the material, dirt, rock, submaterial, whatever it is. That way, based on that, they can determine what type of footings foundation potentially would be needed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Sure, good to see you.
That's why you're here.
Exactly. Got it? Okay, seeing nobody, I move to close the hearing on agenda items only.
Second?
Motion, a second, any discussion? Vote?
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Resolutions, Mr. D'Elia.
I move Resolution 1 approving bill list dated February 23rd, 2016, in the amount of $251,525.05.
Second.
Motion, second, any discussion? Vote?
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Mr. Pastor.
I move Resolution 2, accepting the donation from Mr. Mondelli for a portion of his property identified as Block 614, Lot 182, Plainfield Avenue, to be authorized.
Or
as a
utilized.
permanent- I'm sorry,
Utilized.
utilized as a permanent park for the public to enjoy.
Seconded.
Okay, motion, second, any discussion on this?
Yeah, like a comment. Not many people do stuff like this. I mean, I know that in the 1900s, a lot of really rich, like Rockefeller types, would buy huge pieces of property and then donate them, and it's turned into national parks like Acadia in Maine, stuff like that, Jackson Hole. But not many residents like Vito, just a regular guy, give their entire estate to a township. And, you know, if we want to look at character, well, he was rich. You know, he might have just been a regular guy on the outside, but this is a really big thing, and I'm glad that we're doing, hopefully this will get approved, and we're going to have a nice park out of it. But looking back, I'm sure somebody has given property to this township, but in all of my days, I can't recall. I know things like, you know, Memorial Field was actually taken over by a tax sale, I think from the Mbimbo family back in the old days, but I don't know of anyone donating their property.
Peppertown Park, was Peppertown Park?
I think that was bought from the Patron family.
I know there was a family that owned it.
Yeah, Patrons owned it, but somehow I think, and that was early 70s, I think the
It was a long
township
time.
purchased it, and that's what most of these places, the town purchases it. I can't recall of any piece that I know of that was donated. I know, I think it was called Johnston House, where it's the park down on, by Robbins Avenue. That was a huge piece of property. The county purchased that. So that I don't think was a donation, but I think this is a really big thing, and I really honor Vito and Camille and Mr. Romanko back there for being involved in pulling this off, because it's something that not many people are going to see in their lifetime.
No, you're right.
And I'm just super proud of knowing him, somebody that does something like this. Thanks.
I would echo that and just say, I think, given the redevelopment that we're planning with the new town hall, it's spectacular that we're going to keep that piece of land as a park. I think it'll just make the whole town and center have a whole different feel, so I agree with that sentiment, and thank you to the team working on making this all happen. I think every resident is going to really appreciate it and use it when we see the whole redevelopment come into play.
Okay, anyone else?
Agreed.
Vote?
Mr. Philip?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mr. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Mr. Kingsley?
I move resolution authorizing a professional services agreement with Melick Tully and Associates, P.C., for the provision of geotechnical subsurface investigation services in connection with the redevelopment of the municipal complex.
Seconded.
Any discussion?
I'm just going to make a comment. I'm going to vote no on this, and the thing that bothered me the most is in in the agenda thing, it says, this was not awarded through a fair and open process. And to me, that kind of bothers me, that we should be doing things in a fair and open process, and, whether it's put out the bid or whatever, even if it's not in the threshold, we could be saving money if we try doing things that way, but...
Can I make a comment? They're a engineering professional firm, and that's why it was done with them.
Professional services agreement?
Professional services, yes.
Thank you, John.
But couldn't we put it out to bid even though we don't have to?
They are acknowledged as the
Experts.
leader. There's not a ton of people that do that, Ed. It's not very common.
Okay, thank you.
Vote?
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
No.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
I move resolution number 4, authorizing the grant application for the Lawrence Drive roadway resurfacing project.
Second.
Can I just ask a quick question? John, is this the grant that's due on Friday? What- Oh, no, this is
That's
different.
already actually submitted online, but we need a confirming resolution.
Okay, so this is a different,
This was already submitted.
fine, okay, okay,
to the DOT.
okay.
Vote?
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes, I move resolution number 5, authorizing an interlocal agreement with the Township of Milburn and the Township of Livingston for the provision of animal control services for the township.
Second.
Mr. Second, any discussion? Vote?
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
I move Resolution 6, authorizing an emergency contract for the recycling services with the Giordano Company for a period of 3 months, commencing January 1st, 2016.
Or should I say 4?
Yeah, it should say 4.
Oh.
Mistake.
To April 30th, 2016, at the same terms, conditions, and rates set forth for the original contract, amending Resolution number 54-2016.
Second.
Okay, motion is second, any discussion?
Mayor, just to note, Mr. Pasicolo's comment that all references in the resolution should state 4 months versus 3 months in the amendment.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pastore, consent agenda?
Then we gotta vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have to vote. Let's vote.
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
I move consent agenda items A through B.
Seconded.
Mr. Second, any discussion? Vote?
Mr. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mr. D'Elia?
Yes.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Perrone?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Kingsley?
I move Resolution 8, authorizing the memorandum of understanding with Berkeley developers to memorialize the agreed-upon terms of an age-restricted residential rental development of the Locust Avenue site in an inclusionary affordable housing component.
Seconded.
Any discussion?
I just want to make a plea. I know this is time-sensitive, but this is a very serious thing, and I feel that the residents had no knowledge of this going on, being it was just put on the agenda today or tonight. And it's something I think we should get some input from the residents on, because I think when they see it or know that what's happening, they might want to put their 2 cents in. Maybe they couldn't care less, I don't know, but I just feel the residents should have had advance notice that this was going to be put on the agenda. And I do understand the time constraints, but this is a serious issue. Thank you.
Okay. Vote?
Mrs. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mrs. Leah?
No.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Carell?
Yes.
Okay, introduction of ordinance, Ms. Kingsley.
Don't you have to read it first?
Yes, would you please read, Anna?
An ordinance of the Township of Berkeley Heights, County of Union, State of New Jersey, authorizing the acceptance of the dedication of the right-of-way known as Treetop Court in the Township of Berkeley Heights.
Okay, I move that the ordinance is read by the clerk, be offered on first reading, that March 8th, 2016 be set as date for public hearing, and that the clerk be directed to advertise same in the Courier News.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Vote?
Mrs. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mrs. Leah?
Yes.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Carell?
Yes.
Mr. DeLeo?
I move to open the citizens' hearing.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Vote?
Mrs. DeQuilla?
Yes.
Mrs. Leah?
Yes.
Mrs. Kingsley?
Yes.
Mr. Pastore?
Yes.
Mr. Carell?
Yes.
Citizens' hearing is now open.
Dr. Foraker, 14 Dorset Road. There was a discussion about the library, the current library, and there was a reference to usable floor area. It was stated that Mr. Albino says it increases with the proposed plan. So what are the two numbers? Current usable and proposed usable?
That's a question we'll have to ask Mr. Ivino. I don't have those
You
with
didn't
me.
give that?
I don't have them with me.
He did, they exist, we just don't have them tonight with us.
All right. I'll look forward to next time.
Hendrik Raymakers, 180 Timber. Yeah, this, I didn't realize the number 8 thing was something to be voted on tonight. Obviously, I've been here several times about the 100 Locust. I live right behind it. Why was this decision made? I don't understand something that if I read it correctly, because I just read it for the first time, initially you won the case against Berkeley developers. Is that what did the judge grant you reprieve, or did
No, the judge granted immunity. The case has not come to final disposition.
So granted you immunity. So why do you agree?
Well,
on
because the immunity aspect of it is something that isn't permanent in nature. You go back in incremental periods of time, okay? And while you are doing this, you must be working to come to an agreement with the developers with respect to that land. If the mediator who sits at the whim of the court determines that you, in fact, meaning the municipality, are not acting in good faith with respect to the discussions with the developer, he or she, in this instance it's a she with us, can go to the court and indicate, in fact, that we are not acting accordingly, and we could lose the immunity, which now opens us up to a builder's remedy lawsuit, okay? All of which then ultimately could result in the town having no control whatsoever about what goes there, how many acres, how many units per acre, and so on and so forth. So what that results in, as in any kind of litigation, and it is litigation, okay, so what we're trying to do is come up with what we think is the best deal that we meaning the township, may be able to get to protect us and to address what the Supreme Court has said will be our requirements, and to satisfy to the local judge, meaning the judge in this jurisdiction, that in fact we are acting in good faith, so that we maintain the immunity as we deal with other potential, okay, developers and so on and so forth. So that's the whys and wherefores. As I said earlier,
why was time of the essence?
I beg your pardon?
Why was time of the essence?
The court's made it of the essence, okay? The court has essentially said you will do this and you will do this quickly.
Yeah, Mayor, just if I could supplement that, we have a required filing with the court by Monday that we have to show that we've made certain progress with and where that progress is in the discussions and negotiations. So that is the time of the essence portion of it.
Do you actually have control now, right now? Because that's not one.
To the extent one can have control?
Yeah.
Do
okay?
you have control now or not?
The word control, I wish I could agree with you. I'd love to be able to agree with you, okay? Nobody has control, okay, except the court, okay? And again, what goes into this entire mix, this cauldron, if you will, are, okay, and people say, well, let's fight this, okay? Then you're looking at $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 worth of legal fees.
Yeah, probably more because it's Wilf. He sues everybody. So.
Well, but it looks like we're in control of this. Okay, so in other words, you understand that a little bit. Okay.
And then I'm probably going over my 3 minutes. But what's the what control do I have in terms of the plan as someone who's directly affected?
You'll be able to comment. You'll be able to comment on the plan as they go in front of the planning board and the council and the like. There'll be periods of public comment. You'll be able to see it. And I think. I mean, all the details haven't rolled out, but I think as this rolls out, I think the public will be, I think our planner and our attorneys did an outstanding job of lobbying on our behalf to get the density down to a number that works, and height restrictions and setbacks. I think people will be happy with it because they really fought hard.
Is this information available to me somewhere?
Mayor, it's not just straight out public information because they're in the middle. It's the settlement negotiations in connection with the litigation. So it's something that we have to, even wanting to release certain of it, we can't because it's in, subject to the court's control and the litigation settlement purposes. But
once you've signed this, then
once we. With regard to the terms in the MOU that's out there, that's general terms that we've come to a general agreement to on the development. However, it's still subject to very further negotiations. This is preliminary. This is just to show to the court that we've been negotiating, and these are the terms that we believe we've come to an agreement to. However, there's still a lot of work to do. Ultimately, if it goes forward, this will be part of a redevelopment project, which means we would have to determine, and being the town, have to determine what all the setbacks, all the redevelopment plan, all the requirements, and in this type of situation, we would even get in very detail with regard to architecture and so forth. However, because it's part of a litigation, it has to be negotiated. It's not something that we can just simply dictate because then that would be not good faith negotiations. We could lose our immunity, and it's something that we have to agree upon. So it's not just, and to kind of follow up what the mayor was saying, with regard to control, in a sense, we have control, but it's all through negotiation, so it has to be set to a reasonableness standard and something that we have to work back and forth with the property owner developer throughout the entire process. So it's not as simple as just a regular redevelopment project that we would tell them, this is what we'll allow you to do, and you can do it. There's a lot more to it because of the affordable housing obligation and the court process through it.
But Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, we do control height, setback, what it's going to look like.
Subject to negotiation with the developer, we can't just dictate it.
But without an agreement, we have no control if it went to the court.
Right.
That all goes out the window.
Right.
Okay. Well, last question then. 196, what's the acreage? What's the density that we're actually looking at here so I can calculate?
It's 10 acres, right? It's 10 acres, so that's probably like...
It's a little over 10 acres, so it comes to about 19 units per acre, give or take, percentage.
Okay, so I can count on it being a lot higher than the factory is right now.
A lot higher?
Not a lot.
I don't know how high the factory, I couldn't speak to that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
No.
Johnson Cagley at 22 Robbins Avenue. As a follow-up to that, wasn't at one point, the developer talking something like 300 units?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So that, I know there's, issues about how it'll be set up, but in other words, this would be limited to 196 over 55 units. And I read in the thing that there's a small number that could be for the supers that are working there.
Correct.
But in other words, so this would guarantee that there would only be 196 units and that they would all be essentially for senior citizens.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
And 15% of them would be for low affordable housing, senior citizens.
Okay. The other thing I have, and John, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I know it's not in your domain, but maybe you can do something about it. The bridge on Springfield Avenue by Robbins Avenue, there was some work done there several months ago, and by, I guess, the county. And they left it as a sort of a ski jump.
A hill.
And then they came back and they tried to fix it. And the fix didn't go very well. My neighbor who's next to me, who's on the corner, their house shakes when trucks go by there. And I'm just wondering if there's some pressure we can put on the county to
Bob
get
and I
that road
talked
fixed
about
properly.
that, actually.
Yeah, I'll try to reach out to them again.
Yeah,
All right.
you know, I mean, it looked like when they came, it was going to resolve it, but it resolved it in a way
Hey,
that's
you still
probably
got a dip.
not much better than it was before.
I agree.
So anything you could do to try and influence that would be
We'll call the
appreciated.
county again.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Carol Matula, 5 Hastings Road. What is our proposed obligation for affordable units?
Proposed by whom?
What the town is proposing to be in
Oh.
the number of, can you,
The number is
can you
on
know
that.
that number yet or not?
Well, there was a report that we are participating in that was issued by EchoSalt that was submitted to the court that set forth what we're arguing our number is versus what the Fair Share Housing is arguing our number is. And I apologize, I don't have that with me, and I've been doing this for many towns, and I don't remember exactly what the number is for.
I don't want to take a guess.
I don't want to take a guess, but it's, I know.
It's going to be in the letter that we issue, that's coming out.
I
It'll be in
sincerely
there.
apologize, I should know this, it's been a long day, but
It'll be in our communication that comes out.
Fair
That's one of
share
the
housing
facts.
is 891.
Yeah,
Is what
which
they're
is
arguing.
which is obviously way too
Well,
high.
and Joe, may I?
Please, and I'm going to see if I can find the number.
All right, you're looking at me, Don. I just wanted to bring something up to you though, Carol. What was interesting is Fair Share Housing last week in Piscataway, they were at 1,500. Piscataway said they were at 375. They ended up going to court and settling for 975.
Wow.
Yeah. What that means, think about it, you have to build 6,500 units to have 15% to get 975. And I called the BA in Piscataway and I said, why? And he goes, it hasn't been signed off by the court yet. He goes, we're hoping that they agree to 975. He goes, I'll discuss it with you after we get it back. So, it's not pretty.
Carol, the number?
Yeah.
Round 3 component of the township's affordable housing obligation. The township's expert report holds up, if it holds up.
Yeah.
Its affordable housing obligation would be 218, round 3 component. Okay? Now, as John just said, the round 3 component position of our opponent, Fair Share Housing, is 858. So,
Even 218 seems a lot. If that's
it
only-
seems...
And it's a lot, but imagine,
Yeah, you're right. It does seem like a lot. I don't disagree with you.
This proposed development on Locust Ave, is that going to be like 3 stories? How is that going to be configured?
I think that's still being negotiated, right?
Well, that's part of what we're still negotiating as to the design and the.
There is a setback there, though, is there not?
Yeah, we've already gone through the setbacks, 100 yards.
100 feet.
100 feet.
It's the second time.
You're not playing football.
100-foot front yard setback was agreed to keep it a distance off Locust Ave. But the final height terms, we haven't come to fully agreement yet as to the design, the building locations, the size of the buildings.
Can you comment at all on the height? Because we're, what, 2.5 stories?
You have to remember, Carol, that property slants, the topography of that. If you can envision it, it goes down.
Right.
To what degree, I'm not sure.
We're going to
No, that's
talent. I mean,
Right.
And is this going to be a condo community, or are the units going to be individually owned?
It's going to be a rental, so we'll have that's why there's a few units that's carved out for supers and for maintenance of it. So the developer's going to own it, maintain it, and it's going to be rented.
and Carol, although we can't tell you specifics yet because they haven't been finalized, they're not going to be allowed to build a tower. We're not building buildings that way. So,
Good evening, Stephen Yellen, 130 Dogwood Lane. A couple quick things. First, on behalf of the Cultural Events Committee, I'd like to announce our 3rd event of the year, which will be a celebration of the Jewish holiday of Purim, which will be complete with a children's style carnival, as is an annual tradition. That will be on Sunday, March 13th, from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Berkshire Heights Rehabilitation Center, which is where we had the Martin Luther King Day event. Again, I'd like to invite any members of the governing body that would like to attend, and I want to thank Mr. DeQuilla for attending the Chinese New Year event. I know the members of the committee appreciated that very much. The second thing, and this is in response to what Mr. Valia mentioned, am I to understand that the library would be closed for a period of at least 2 years as part of this agreement?
We're not sure.
We don't know.
We don't know that. I don't think, Stephanie, you even know that yet, do you?
I think I can say the attorneys for those sides are working to keep that time to a minimum.
Yeah.
I think Joe would agree with me on that.
Absolutely, Mayor. The goal and what we're working with in working throughout this entire process is to minimize that as much as possible. But it's at this point, it would be a shot in the dark to try to give you a time period of what will be closed. It's too vague.
I guess my question is more along the, can it be stated without obviously getting to legal negotiation, confidentiality and so forth, can it be definitively stated that the library would be closed for a period of time?
I think it's fair to say that it will be, while we're trying to minimize it, I think it's be very difficult to have no period of time where it will be closed. If it can work out that way, we'd be happy to do it, but more likely than not, there will be some type of period where the library will be closed. At its current location, I believe there's going to be...
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
specifying at its current location. We will be looking for a rental facility or somewhere else. It obviously won't be as large, but it will still be a functioning library.
No, and I
understand. Mr. Fasher prefers we say uprooted rather than homeless.
I entirely understand. I just wanted to clarify that part.
I'm looking for clarification too, and we're all
Working
at mercy of everything.
I understand. Thank you.
Last chance. Seeing no one else, I move to close the citizens' hearing.
Seconded.
Second discussion, vote?
Mrs. Aquila?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucia?
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorr?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Kingsley?
What? Oh, you want me to move? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll move to adjourn.
You're
the
next.
meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Like what?
You don't get to say all in favor, Gene.